All right, this is the Wednesday crossword on April 1st, 2026. So typically in the past, we've had these April Fool's themed puzzles. The one that I remember most fondly, there was this one that had a very interesting description. This was maybe in 2022 or something, but it said there are four solutions in this puzzle. Um, Also, look at the circled squares to find another one. So the idea was, oh wow, this puzzle has four whole solutions to it, and you can also look at the circled squares to find another one. Turns out the puzzle itself was the circled squares just spelled out the words another one, and then the four solutions, as they called it in the puzzle, were actually just chemical solutions like window cleaner and so on. So that was when I first got that, like it actually got me pretty good because I didn't realize that this is what they did on April 1st for April Fools. So hopefully we'll see something similar with today's. This is a Wednesday by Jess Shulman and Amy Walker. So hopefully we'll get a somewhat similarly clever theme as well, but we'll just see what they do here. Okay, so let's see. Don't at me. Seems like don't sass me typically, but don't something me. What is this? Outdoor events with grills. Well, that's barbecues. So what is this? Don't something me. I don't know. Old Hollywood nickname. That sounds like a golf term. It's bogey. So I think it was spelled like that. Yikes. Or maybe it's eek. I don't know. Bogey might be with an IE, but I know bogey is, it sounds like a golf term. Bogey with an EY is literally the golf term. So I think this alternate spelling you can say is the nickname. Light on one's feet is agile. So don't blame me, possibly. Julia Louis Dreyfus of Veep, I think that's her name. Epitome of smoothness is silk. Quip part one is quick something. What is this? Happy Mickey D's. I think that's what they would say. Happy Meal chain informally. McDonald's Mickey D's. I've heard of what is it called? Macca's. That's what they say in Australia, I think. And in France, it's McDo. That's very interesting the way that they have all these separate nicknames. But Mickey D's, I don't know what localization that is, but I know some places said it. I've certainly heard of it. Second wedding anniversary material. Okay, a second wedding, so possibly an old ring of some kind, because it's like after you've been divorced, it might be a little less ceremonious. I know this one. This should be Sir, as in Sir Isaac Newton. Alternative to check or card could be check, cash. That's right, cash. Moments of understanding are aha moments, maybe ahas. Birthplace of 7 U.S. presidents. This looks like Ohio. It has the right letters for it. Second wedding anniversary material. Co-something. I don't know. Nail-biting sports periods. Oh, overtimes. OTs. You always see this, and it's very strange the way they abbreviate it, but OTs, overtimes. Annual DC address for short. Annual DC. Okay, address. It's not address, it's address. So it's a speech. State of the Union, I think. Takes care of is sees to a certain task or a certain person, maybe. Kind of burger that lacks meat is a soy burger. Apple pan something with a D here. Candy? Baked. It's a baked pastry. I'll just come back to it. Quip part 2. Okay, so basically what's going on is it's just a 4-line phrase. I mean, I think it goes all the way across. And we don't see quips that often, but I think maybe with the April Fool's theme, it might be what's going on now. Second wedding anniversary material. Is this cotton? Quick start something, maybe? Occasions for getting gussied up are dates. Gussy up means to dress very nicely. So hot dates, possibly. Stores selling... I can't pronounce that, but it looks very Swedish, so I think it's IKEA's. Do some crafting is knit, possibly. Toodaloo is ta-ta. It's a very British kind of old-timey, like, periwigs and, like, kind of big corsets and whatever kind of vibe. The toodaloo ta-ta, kind of old-timey. Quip, quick start, I don't know. Neat. I don't know. Let's see what else there is. Fear not, maybe? It's a phrase you might say, fear not. Either of two wives of Henry VIII. Anne's, maybe. So, sorry, excuse me. So I think because it's talking about either of the two Y's. It's not both Y's, but so it might just be and spelled like this, singular. Then what is this? Environmentally friendly might be green. So quick start, young at heart maybe. Quick start, young at heart. So it looks like these spell out something. These circled squares. I'll keep that in mind. Implied. It might be tacit. So not said, but implied. And I can't think of, I'm pretty sure it's an I. Because there's also another word tacit, it was spelled with an E here, but that means, I think, silent, like actually just silent. Sort of like in music, if an instrument is tacit, it means that during the movement or like the certain piece, it's not playing, if you're like in an orchestra. Phil Ox, I think, sang the protest song. He sounds like a singer. Bone that squeaks, maybe. It's a dog toy. Kind of burger that lacks meat. This should be a veggie burger. Same thing with soy burger. I mean, they're kind of the same thing. Golly is cheese, maybe. Gosh. I think that's gosh because I was looking at this one. Like a burnt out fire pit is ashy. That's the bruised egos or inflated egos that world travelers need is a visa. So meh is so-so. That's right. Then listen, hear me out on this. This might be I gotta say. Go a courting. And I'm not really sure what is the sort of clever part here. A courtin. Sue? Maybe? Like if you go courting, then it means you just go to court so you sue someone. It seems like it's in the flavor of what New York Times is used to doing, so I'm going to go with that. Word repeated might be test when trying out a microphone. That's right. Rear end might be a rump. This looks like Egypt. Vault in a mummy movie, or crypt. Sorry, not Egypt, crypt. But they do end in the same 3 letters, so it's kind of similar. Scottish caps. They are tams. And I think that's the same thing as a fez. I think they just have different names, but I think Fez is a specific city where they are most common. But I think Tams and Fez, they seem like the same thing as far as I know. No, I don't think so. I think a tam is sort of a flat cap. It's sort of like what an artist would wear. They wear a smock and a tam. Maybe, I'm gonna go with that. MS Now competitor. What is MS Now? MS Now, this seems like this is a news channel or something, CNN. I'm going to keep that in mind, but I don't know yet. Restaurant chain with locations in more than a dozen countries, thus justifying the first letter in its name. In more than a dozen countries. Well, how does that relate to the first letter of its name? I can only think of a restaurant chain being like IHOP, but the I doesn't really make sense though. We'll come back to it. Swarming insect could be a locust. There are a few other things. Cicada could also work. Environmentally friendly is eco, but it doesn't really help. It could still be cicada. Mine finds, okay, an S, and it does work with the S here, so I think locust possibly could be right. What hearts represent in the face of a love emoji? Eyes. The eyes are, like they're drawn as hearts in the emoji. Mine finds are oars. Ramona I think it's pest. Ramona the pest. I remember that being Beverly Cleary, and she was a very good children's author. I remember reading a lot of her books. How are you? This one, natural hairstyle for short. Could be a fro, an afro. Awaken rudely is it's not risen, it's riven maybe, sort of to be stirred. Awaken rudely, I don't know. Is this say up front? I don't know what other letters can go in here, but let's take a look at that. IHOP possibly, but I don't know why it justifies the first letter in its name. Does it mean like I hop, as in I hop around different countries or something? So it means like you're hopping countries, like I, as in the person, or like the restaurant itself hopping around. I don't get it, but I'm gonna go with that because it seems right. Ogden Nash, who wants my jellyfish? I'm not Sallyfish. Why was Ogden Nash just such a strange guy? Like, I mean, the only actual like knowledge I know about this guy is that he wrote a bunch of really weird sentences, and he was a poet, and he wrote really silly lines. Because I remember there was this entire puzzle actually dedicated to him, and it had all of his weird one-liners or two-liners, and it was very strange. But maybe that's just his style. ¿Cómo está usted? How are you in Spanish? And gal in Glasgow is a wee lass. That's what they say, lass. Awaken slowly to stir. Cheek might be sass. So cheek could mean a few things. A physical cheek, but in this case, cheek means like you're giving sass, like lip service. What is it? Like back talk, that kind of meaning. Edmonton's hockey team, I think it's the Oilers. I otherwise don't know any other hockey teams, but Oilers is something I've heard of, and I think they're from Edmonton. So I'm going to go with that. Arthur Ashe, I've heard of. Arthur Ashe, I always confused. I always thought it was a her, but maybe Ashe Arthur? No, it's Arthur Ashe. He was the tennis legend. That's right. Okay, now I understand. Leave undisturbed is to let lie. I don't know what that. Pay up front. Sorry, that's pay up front. What am I here? Let lie. Let maybe it is. Genre that combines mainstream and underground music is indie pop. Opposed might be anti. Okay, cry from a band leader. They might say hit it. And what is this? Look what I can do. Watch this. Right. So what is this? Second in line, maybe. Quip part 3. So the thing I noticed that it just spells out the word quip, but what does it actually have to do with any of the other words here? Does it have anything to do? Does it have anything to do with any of these other letters? Is this the joke? So I really don't know how this would have passed the editors if it was literally just 4 letters, and this has nothing to do with it. So I'm very confused, at least, of what's going on here. But we'll see what's going on. Let's see. Wow, cool, and so I'm pretty sure this is CNN, and then this looks like this is oh neat. And what is this? Amphibian with specialized topazes, tree frog, so others can hear. If you say something aloud, you say it so others can hear. That's right. Nervous is tense, and subject line could be abbreviation, attention, ATTN, like attention to person to whom it may concern. And so roused. I've heard of that word, and I really don't see it very often in puzzles, but I am convinced. Let's see. Apple pan something. Gaudy? Howdy? I know this one. I know this is an Oto, a Midwestern native. The only reason I know this is because I confuse it all the time with another common 4-word answer, which is OTOH. On the other hand, Oto and Oto, I mean, I think they're kind of, in my head, they're pronounced the same way. So I always know one or the other. And I know that this is the way you spell the Midwestern native because, of course, when you spell out on the other hand, you get an H at the end, but it's pronounced the same way. So that's how I know this. Airline predictions are ETAs, and cozy rooms are dens. And so apple pan dowdy, which I had no idea what that is. I mean, this could work with a few things. Rowdy, wrens, maybe not, but reps. Maybe you can change some letters here. You get howdy, hens. But dowdy, apple pan dowdy, I mean, sure. Maybe I'm just not too familiar with that, and so maybe I wouldn't really know if that's legit or not. But I trust it, and I still got it at the end, so it's it's fine with me. But okay, so we finished this, and we made pretty good time. I think I've been going a bit quickly this time, to be honest. Maybe I haven't explained everything I've been doing, but I still want to take a bit of time to understand what this theme is, because of course it is April Fool's Day, and April Fool's Day we often see some kind of strange themes. It doesn't necessarily have to be like how'd you say, like necessarily a rule following puzzle, but I would have expected some kind of coherence to the puzzle, in order to have it kind of stand out as a, among the other possible submissions that you might get as puzzles, because the acceptance rate is really quite low for New York Times. So they're typically, in order for a puzzle to get accepted, you have to have a theme that's really doing something quite spectacular. From what I can see, and I'm still looking at these, there is essentially no connection between any of these four answers. Especially pay up front, quick start. Like, if you really think of, honestly, any pair of these, you look at them and there's basically no connection. The only thing I can think of is the fact that maybe you're expecting it to be quip, like typically. These puzzles aren't very common now, but there is a sort of trope of a quip puzzle, which is, instead of having four separate phrases that are related by a revealer, you actually have an entire phrase that is spelled out across multiple lines, and then you would, ideally the phrase would spell out something quite clever, which is, and that's that's the entire theme. It's just one single phrase that is split across the entire grid, and then at the end you solve it and you can reveal the entire quip, and hopefully it's a pretty clever quip, or it's somewhat funny. So it seems like this is a subversion of that, of course, because you think that this is doing a quip like it used to, where you would have an entire phrase going across and it spells out something maybe related to April Fools, but really what's happening is just literally the letters quip. And I guess the joke is that this has nothing to do with the actual long answers across here. The only thing that actually matters is quip, like that. My personal opinion of this puzzle is that I think that the letters that they fill are decent. I think that given the very loose constraints of this puzzle now, I think there was more opportunity to maybe try to push the boundaries a little bit with, like the fill, because the fill is nice. The fill works with, it definitely fits the difficulty of the day. But typically this kind of fill would work if you had a lot more letters that you had pretty much like locked in place. But from what I can tell, the only letters that you haven't locked in place are the four letters here. And to be honest, like, you can put these letters in any position that you want in each of these positions, in each of these lines. So you really have a ton of flexibility with how you build this grid. As long as you just have these letters in some order, then the puzzle works. So I would have liked to see a bit more, I guess, experimentation or trying to be a bit, I guess, adventurous with, like how much you pushed the limitations of your fill by. Maybe you have fewer letters. Maybe you have fewer words. You have longer words on average. Maybe you try to really polish off the fill, because the fill is nice in most parts. Like, they're all okay, but like something like this, RTES, for routes with an S at the end, I'm personally not really a big fan of the abbreviations with an S at the end, especially ones that you don't really say in actual speech. As opposed to, say, like ETAs, I can conceivably like imagine someone saying, what are the ETAs or something. Like, ETAs is something you would actually say in speech, but RTEs is not something you would say. Possibly written, but I really can't think of a time in which you would actually see this word. And same thing with four-letter words that are essentially foreign words. They're okay, right? But like ATTN, ESTA, OTO also, I feel like there's certainly more that could be done, I guess, in the sense of there's more that we could do to make the fill nice and tight. And maybe I'm just missing some key part of the theme here, but as far as I can tell, the whole joke is that there is no relation between these. It is literally just the four letters in quip. And you know what? Maybe I'm just a bit cynical, but yeah, I don't know. Um, it's certainly a possible April Fool's joke that you can make. I certainly like the other April Fool's ones in the past a lot more. Maybe I just remember them more fondly because I wasn't too good at puzzles back then, so I had some time to enjoy them a bit more. But yeah, there it is. Quick solve today. Really not too much resistance here. And I would say it was a very solid puzzle. I was happy with this one. I'll see you next time.